brewers, welcome back to another episode of Maxwell Starr's Beer Review. Tonight we're going to take a look at a beer, a new product that just recently showed up in our New Brunswick liquor stores. One that I'm pretty sure that by now is already starting to sell out. I've been a little late getting towards this one because I've had it for, probably about a month now. I just haven't gotten to it because of all the other beer that I've been slammed with lately. So this one here is Palm, a Belgian pale ale from, well, obviously Belgium. What part of Belgium, anyway? Steinhuffel. Anno 1747, so it must have been originally brewed in 1747, or the company started around that time. So as far as I know, this is a Belgian-style pale ale. Generally, Belgian-style pale ales are pretty darn good. This one weighs in at 5.4% ABV, and the bottle size is 330 milliliters. So 11.2 fluid ounces. Some people might get a little butthurt about having so little beer in the bottle, but I'm not overly worried about it, considering that section of an ounce is going to be backwash at the bottom of the bottle. Should show you. Has a nice palm cap on the top, which is a nice touch. At least it's not like plain silver or anything, but usually the Belgians are good for that. Pour that in my Stella glass. Pouring that into the glass, the head's a little less active. It's a little bit more bubbly, but the appearances of that one kind of remind me of the likes of Deconic. Looks like it's got some decent head retention. I mean, it didn't really kick up a lot of head, maybe a half a finger, but it's not going away. It's got some large bubbles. The head will die off, but it's got some, at least it has a little bit of staying power. Not a whole lot of carbonation in it, though. It looks almost like, there's a little bit in there, but it almost looks like pop after it's been sitting in the fridge open for a day. I mean, you see a couple of small bubbles coming up from the top, or from the bottom, and that's about it. So looking at that, it's got a very coppery appearance, slightly orange hue. It reminds me a lot of Deconic, but maybe not quite as rich. A little bit flat. Definitely looks good enough to smell, so let's give it a sniff. Very dusty, holy. There's a subtle amount of fruit coming up through there too. It's like maybe a little bit of an apple fruit, but I'm getting a lot of dust off of this. It's in the bottle too, I think. Might be from a little bit of yeast, although it's very clear. It looks like it's been really filtered. Very dusty. Subtle red fruit kind of smells. No trace of hops. Maybe a little slight amount of like a metallic herbal kind of smell from some trace of hops. That reminds me of something. I think I'm actually thinking Keith's, like Alexander Keith's pale ale, the India Pale Ale. That's not really India Pale Ale. Got that subtle metallic kind of smell. You know what? It doesn't look that bad. The smell leaves something to be desired. So let's put it down the hatch. Wow. That's kind of interesting. It's very light. It almost kind of seems to dissipate in the mouth, and a little bit of carbonation comes out at that time. The first thing I get is this little bit of like almost dusty, but earth, like, oh, you want to call it earthy? It's more metallic kind of hop taste, like a herbal metallic kind of hop. That sort of dissipates. It's very light, and then it dissipates into this sweet brown sugar caramel kind of malt. It's like it rides this subtle hoppy wave that lingers just a tad, goes away, leaving malt behind, like a little light malt. And the flavors of it are light and graceful. And there's a little bit of wetness left behind afterwards, but for the most part, it finishes dry and leaves your mouth a little dry. one thing I do notice is that while the palate and the malt in the center where the hops kind of stick a little in the back of the tongue, it kind of makes the beer weigh a little heavy. But other than that, the thing dissipates really quickly and gives you the overall impression that you're drinking a nice, light, enjoyable beer. Yeah, that's not bad, actually. I'm rather impressed with that. I wasn't expecting a whole lot from this one. It's definitely enjoyable. I've got another couple bottles of this left. I'm probably going to enjoy them, or trying to pass them on to other people for beer mails. It's just, it's not wowing me. It's like, even Deconic really impressed me. This one here, I mean, it's good, and I'd recommend people try it. It's just that I can think of way better Belgians out there. Even so, and I've said this before, a good, even the lowest end of Belgians usually scale pretty highly. I mean, they're always generally really thoroughly enjoyable beers, and it's hard to find a beer, even a brewer from Belgium, that does a crappy job. You know, even Stella. Stella's not a bad lager. It's just, it's not impressing me a whole lot. It's just one that's going to be nice and easy to enjoy and sit down with. But it's not like Chimay, or it's not like Deconic or Orval or Lef or something like that. It's just a beer. So I'm going to give this, I'm going to give it a 3.5 out of 5. That's usually the low end for a Belgian beer for me. I can't think of any reason for me to hate this one, and I do enjoy this, and I will enjoy this one. And I do recommend people try it. It's just I can think of a lot better Belgian beers out there than this. But that said, it's got a lot to compare to. I can think of a ton of other Belgian beers that people should try over this. But if this is all you've got, give it a try, because generally Belgians make a very good beer. So I'm going to give this a 3.5 out of 5. Give it a try if you see it. Thanks for watching. Maxwell Starr's beer review. We'll chat with you folks later, and thanks for watching. Cheers, guys.